My cherished child, there was a moment in your life that felt like the end of everything you knew. A moment that quietly divided your life into two parts. The time before it happened and the time after. You remember that moment. You may not speak of it often. You may have learned to carry it silently. But deep within your heart, you know the exact season I am speaking about. It was the time when something you once depended on suddenly disappeared. The time when what felt secure began to crumble. The time when the future you imagined dissolved right in front of you. You stood in the middle of that moment, confused, wounded, and searching for answers. Nothing around you looked the same anymore. The plans you carefully built seemed to collapse like fragile walls made of sand. The people you believed would always remain suddenly walked away or changed. The confidence you once carried faded into uncertainty. And in the quiet of your heart, you whispered a question that many of my children ask when life shifts unexpectedly. Why? Why did this happen? Why now? Why did something that once seemed so right suddenly fall apart? My child, I heard that question. Even when your voice trembled. Even when you were too tired to pray. Even when you could only sit in silence because words would not come. I was there. You may have believed you were alone in that moment. You may have felt abandoned by everything you once trusted. But I never stepped away from you. I saw the tears you wiped away when no one else noticed. I saw the nights when sleep refused to come because your mind was filled with thoughts that would not rest. I saw the mornings when you forced yourself to smile so that others would not see the heaviness inside your heart. And I want you to understand something today that you could not see then. What you believed was the end was actually the beginning of something I had already started preparing. You thought everything was falling apart, but I was carefully removing what could not travel with you into the life I prepared for you. There are seasons when I build and there are seasons when I remove. Both are acts of love. When I remove something from your life, it is not because I wish to punish you. It is not because you failed. It is not because I stopped caring. It is because I see the future in ways you cannot yet see. You were holding tightly to things that once served a purpose in your life. People, dreams, habits, ways of seeing yourself. But their season had already ended. Yet you continued trying to revive them, hoping they would become what they once were. My child, some things cannot grow again once their purpose is complete. And if I allowed you to keep carrying them, they would slowly drain the life from you. So I began a quiet work within your life. Not loudly, not dramatically, but carefully, piece by piece. What you called loss was often protection. What you called rejection was sometimes redirection. What you called delay was preparation. I was not destroying your life. I was clearing the ground. You see, when a builder wants to construct something strong and lasting, he cannot simply build on top of unstable foundations. First, the ground must be cleared. Old structures must come down. Weak materials must be removed. Only then can something greater begin. And that is what I was doing in your life. You were standing in the middle of the debris, wondering why everything had broken. But I was already standing in the quiet beyond that moment, preparing the space for something new to rise. My child, nothing that happened in that season was wasted. Not the tears. Not the confusion. Not the long nights of waiting. Even the moments when you felt distant from me. All of it became part of the story I am writing through your life. You thought the silence meant I was gone. But silence is not absence. Sometimes silence is where the deepest work happens. Think about the roots of a tree. When they are growing deeper into the soil, you cannot see their progress. From the outside, nothing appears to be happening. But beneath the surface, strength is forming. The roots are spreading. The tree is becoming capable of carrying more weight, surviving stronger winds, and reaching higher toward the sky. That is what I was doing within you. While you believed everything had stopped, I was strengthening the roots of your spirit. I was teaching you things that comfort could never teach. You learned compassion because you felt pain. You developed resilience because you walked through difficulty. You discovered a deeper trust in me because there were moments when I was the only one you could hold on to. Those lessons cannot be learned through ease. They are formed in fire. And yes, the fire was intense. There were days when you wondered if you would ever feel whole again. Days when your faith felt fragile. Days when the future looked uncertain. But you kept moving forward. Even when your steps were slow. Even when your prayers were short. Even when all you could say was, "God help me." That was enough. Because faith is not measured by how strong you feel. Faith is revealed in your willingness to keep going when everything inside you wants to stop. And you did not stop. You kept walking. You kept believing, even if only a small part of your heart could still believe. And that small part was enough for me to work with. Now look at who you are becoming. The person you are today carries a depth you did not have before. Your empathy has grown. Your wisdom has matured. Your ability to recognize truth has sharpened. You are not the same person you were before that season. You are stronger now. Not because life became easier, but because you survived something that once felt impossible. And now I speak to you with clarity. You are not broken. You are being rebuilt. You are not behind in life. You are right on time for the purpose I prepared. You are not disqualified. You are chosen. The pain you walked through did not destroy you. It refined you. It removed what was false. It exposed what was fragile. And it revealed the strength I placed inside you long before you realized it was there. Now the rebuilding has begun. But listen carefully, my child. The rebuilding I am doing will not look like the past. I am not restoring you to the life you had before. I am leading you into something deeper, something wiser, something stronger. The joy that is coming into your life will not be the naive joy you once carried. It will be a seasoned joy. A joy that understands sorrow but refuses to be defeated by it. The peace I am giving you will not depend on circumstances. It will be a peace that remains steady even when storms surround you. Because once you have walked through darkness and discovered that I was still with you, fear loses its power. You begin to realize something profound. You were never alone. Not for a single moment. And you never will be. So take a deep breath, my child. You do not have to rebuild your life by your own strength. That is my work. Your role is simpler than you think. Remain open,